This is a story I read somewhere a while ago. It may well be made up, but apparently, a long time ago, somewhere in ancient Greece, people did cow sacrifices. Thanks to Prometheus, only the bones went to the gods, and the meat was distributed among the people. The head of every family was entitled to one piece of sacrificial cow. At first, the priests actually distributed the meat, but soon they started handing out tokens, which people then took to the temple whenever they felt like it, to get the piece of meat. It didn't take long for people to start using these tokens as money, and so the ancient Greeks had a currency that was backed by beef. I have always found this story pretty funny, and it also reminds me of the Aztecs who used roasted cocoa beans to buy stuff at the markets, which also reminds me, back in the olden days when I was a child and people still actually used cash, they sometimes had a whole jar full of small change which they didn't want to use because everybody hates counting cents at the checkout. I think it's possible to sell small coins by weight, but the whole issue of having to get rid of a jar of small change is immediately solved if your money is edible. Over on the Spindle world, the people of the windless zones like horse meat, so they can be fans of horse sacrifice as well. Distribute tokens to the head of every family, and now you have meat-backed money. Now I only need something directly edible to use as small change, and it needs to be something that doesn't perish too fast. And there's also the fact that the Aztecs didn't grow cocoa beans themselves. Cocoa came from the south, so nobody could just grow money on a tree in their backyard. For the windless zone people, horses come from the nomads, so maybe small change comes from the steppes as well. Maybe there's a peanut-type plant that grows in the steppes, and the nomads gather them and roast them, and then trade them for windless zone produce. And so the inhabitants of the windless zones can snack on currency both small and large.